Hello and welcome once again to Revero Health Success Stories. And my name's Brooke, a coach here, and I would like to introduce Amy to you, who's going to share with us her carnivore experience. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Hi, doing well. Thank you. How are you?
Very well, thanks. And thank you for taking the time to share with
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
listeners what's been going on for you. So, what has been going on? What are you eating?
What am I eating? Okay, well, I can go back to the beginning or start now or
Let's go to the beginning.
okay, so the beginning. So I started about 3 years ago. It's actually about next week that I know I'll be hitting my 3-year mark that I started. And I started just to lose weight. Seemed like the next quick fix, right? And I came from years long of being an adult, of being unhealthy and being overweight and not being happy or satisfied with the way that I looked. I had just had my 5th child. I was 8 months postpartum and I was still nursing at the time as well. And then I decided I would give it 30 days and just see how it went. And then I started with just eating anything that sounded good in that moment. A lot of eggs and bacon, and then ground beef or steaks. And, I went through some aversions to certain things, and I would just do my best and just continue during those 30 days. And I was also nursing, like I said, at the time. So I kind of had to force myself to eat, even though there was periods of times that I wasn't hungry, because I needed to keep my milk supply up. So I was able to do that with just finding the foods that worked for me or that I could handle.
I remember nursing and I would be so hungry and I would have to eat so much food. Did that change for you when you were on carnivore diet?
Yes, it did. So, I mean, it typically, because I was already 8 months in, my supply was pretty, foundational. It was there. So that kind of, was part of it. But I found myself not very hungry in the very beginning, like after the first week. But then it came back, and then I feel like I had a normal diet or a normal desire to eat a normal amount of food. I never tracked anything. And then in that 30 days, I found that I lost 15 pounds, kind of, effortlessly. I was very tired the first 30 days. I didn't really work out or anything. But I felt great after the 30-day mark or at 30-day mark. I realized, okay, well, I guess I better keep doing this because it was really working.
Great. What were you eating? What were you eating before? Right before? Were you on a keto diet? Well, you had just delivered a baby 9 months before, so you were just eating just a solid general
Just
diet.
a regular standard American diet, not doing well. I, did have tried all of the diets over the years. I've, tried keto, tried paleo, tried if it fits your macros, just calorie counting. I have tried it all. So at this time, I definitely was not following anything after I had my child, and I was ready to see changes. And then I experienced changes that I just never knew that I would. So in those 30 days, after I'd say between 7 and 10 days, cravings for anything else like went away, and I no longer cared to look for anything else, or it just became like okay, like someone else is having it, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have this in front of me. Like, no, I don't mind. It was absolutely okay. So
So
like I said,
you
go
said
ahead.
you're eating eggs and bacon, and then were steaks or burgers or
Yes, absolutely.
meat?
Those, for the
Yeah.
most part, those were the staples. And um, at this point, it's over the past several years, it's just kind of evolved. And the same thing, I just kind of eat what sounds good. I do include organ meats now. I'm currently doing, I guess, a little experiment of trying beef only, and that's been good. I don't think something I'll continue with long term, but I feel like my body is okay with the variety, and I didn't experience any outstanding factors or anything special with just beef only.
And it's been a few years now, and you've lost all that baby weight.
Yes, and then some.
And then some. Great for you. What's the amount of weight so far, did you say?
I think total would probably be between like 30, 40. I honestly, I don't weigh myself very often. So I don't know. And my weight has gone up and down. Even through my journey, it wasn't perfect. I fell back into old habits and, but I came right back, and now I've been very solid for a couple of years, and
For you.
I have had so many more benefits that I could elaborate on.
Yeah, please do. How's your energy?
So energy is great. Before I would always experience hunger, if you will, always needed that, food to pick me up and to light me up. And now, honestly, I have great energy. I sleep really well, when I get it. Like I said, I got 5 kids. So, within
You need all that energy. You need all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. My skin is very clear. I have always had, nothing extreme, but I've always had, acne for a little bit, and that has completely gone away. And my skin is just, and dark circles like under my eyes, I've seen an improvement in that. These are just things that I never thought of improving when I was going into it just for the weight loss. And so I kind of like to say, like, I came for weight loss, but I really stayed for all the health benefits. And I'd say the main thing that carnivore has brought me is the freedom from food addiction. I don't feel controlled by food. I no longer have cravings. I don't binge on foods and then, have the guilt, that cycle, never ending. I've did that for years, and I'm just so satisfied in the way that I eat, and I'm happy, and I know that I'm fueling my body the best way possible. And that
That's
to me
good.
is number one.
That sounds great. Were you eating much animal food before, like meat, steak, beef? Were you
Not
eating?
a lot of beef, honestly. A lot of chicken. I did like beef, and I knew that healthy fats were good for you, but I always tried to just keep calories down, and I would go and eat, like boneless, skinless chicken breast because it was the easiest to, more filling, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. No,
But
I
now,
totally get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
now I eat all the red meat, all the beef, all the fat that I can get.
Yeah, yeah. So can you share with us what a typical day would be for you with your diet?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, like I said, I am doing beef only. So it's, I'd say different than it typically is when I'm not doing beef only. But right now I would eat maybe a steak, and that just really depends on what we have, whether it's on sale or what we can afford. So ribeye is definitely my favorite. So if we've got ribeye, I'm having a ribeye first, and then probably following it up with some ground beef later in the evening, having typically 2 meals a day.
Nice. Do you do intermittent fasting now?
I kind of do normally, kind of naturally. It has, it happened over time. So in the beginning, I didn't. And even now, if I'm feeling hungry, then I'm going to eat. I've listened to my body, but kind of naturally, I'm not hungry in the morning. And quite honestly, I'm very busy, and it just works better for my lifestyle and my schedule to eat later in the afternoon.
Sounds good. Do you have coffee? Do you drink coffee?
I do occasionally. I've honestly cut back a lot recently, and I'd say not every day. And when I do, about 1 cup a day.
So right now you're eating just beef only, so you're probably not having cream in your coffee. But when you're not just eating beef only, what does it look like?
So when I'm not beef only, I still only drink black coffee. I'm for the most part am dairy free. I really enjoy cheese, but cheese does not love me.
Oh,
Yeah, that is a factor in my skin. Unfortunately, I do notice it. So I think I can have some, and I do like on occasion, but for the most part, I try to avoid that. So outside of that, I'd say most of my diet would be still beef, but then I would incorporate other things such as pork. I love pork ribs, honestly, and bacon and eggs and sardines and chicken wings. Really anything that sounds good. I just kind of try to listen to my body the best that I can.
and how do you incorporate the organ meat?
Yeah, so I very much enjoy beef liver right now. I've also been trying heart, and I'm open to trying anything once, I guess. So I do have liver a couple times a week.
Oh, good. So you just like saute it in butter or something, or ghee or
Yeah,
tallow?
exactly. Right now it's in tallow, but
Yeah.
absolutely. I've also tried it raw, but you know, teach their own.
Yeah, yeah. And then how long do you think that you'll just do beef only?
Well, I'm doing as a part of a challenge right now, so I only have about 10 days left. So after that, then I think I'll go back to more variety. But like I said, I'd say the staple of my diet is beef, probably 80 to 90% anyway.
Yeah, it's such a great, the ruminants rock. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very good. Although beef prices sure are, you know, jumping.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, they are. We are doing our best. But my husband and I are looking into actually buying a full cow right now. We're doing our research, so trying to get that going.
yeah, good for you. So I know you love ribeye, and you also mentioned burgers. Do you do other things like oxtail or beef cheeks or just different cuts of beef?
I have tried oxtail. I don't know, overly impressed with it. So I haven't included it again, but like I said, I'm open to trying anything, but I guess I'm a creature of habit. I typically just stick with what I know.
And do you do broth? Make beef?
Yes, I do make bone broth. Sorry, I didn't include that. Yeah, absolutely. I love including bone broth. I just made some a couple days ago, and it's actually I think my best batch yet. I included beef feet, and it was just so flavorful this time.
Beef, what'd you say? Beef, the hoof?
Hmm.
Oh, I
Yes.
know. I've done the hoof, and what's so amazing with a hoof is that it makes so much broth. It makes so much gelatin. In fact, you could use it again
Yes.
and again. You can use it a few times to keep making more gelatin.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is super gelatinous. I love it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. That's hilarious. Um, yeah, actually, trotters are really good too. Pig, pig trotter.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I just because I'm doing beef, so I stuck with the beef. So typically I do chicken feet. So this was, a nice, I guess, alternative, and I'm really impressed with it. So I'm thinking we'll stick with it.
Yeah, I was so amused by the fact that I was that I was cooking a beef foot, a beef
Right.
hoof, a hoof. But yeah, I was really impressed with how much gelatin it made. It's great.
Definitely.
So you've got a big family.
Yes.
So what does everybody else eat?
So my husband is also carnivore. He transitioned into it about a year to a year and a half ago, and he did not have a weight problem. He's very fit and active, and he just kept kind of being like, man, you're just experiencing so many benefits. And he decided to give it a try. And so he's also doing it and he loves it. And he has definitely had his own success with it. Our children are, I would say, somewhere in the carnivore, keto, paleo world. They, definitely are meat heavy because that's what we are, but we do expose them and allow them to have, a lot of other foods. And that has been honestly great, and I've seen benefits in all of them as well. So my kids range from 3 years old to 17 years old. So it's it's harder on the older kids because it was definitely a transition, but the younger ones, it's really all they know.
Well, it's good as long as they get that, as long as they get that meat in there, those animal foods in there. The rest of the stuff they could play with, as long as they
Yep.
get those animal
Absolutely.
nutrients in. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with them was we just try to educate them on the importance of it and why we're doing it, and not to necessarily demonize things like carbs, because obviously inherently carbs aren't just bad for you, but just to talk about what they do to our bodies and for our bodies. And honestly, I have a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old that are now kind of choosing to do a meat heavy keto diet on their own. So they are listening, they are soaking it up, and they do, are realizing the benefits of them.
Yeah, you only have to demonize the seed oils.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, they
The
know.
rest is all fine.
Yeah, we were at Costco the other day and with my daughter, she's 7, and I looked at something and I was like, nope, sorry, can't get it. She's like, does it have vegetable oil in it? So she knows.
I guess soybean oil is the one of the biggest it's the biggest fat that all of, not just the United States, all kinds, people, all kinds of countries are eating soybean oil everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that the knowledge of the the detriments of it isn't more well known.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys are doing great.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. And And I love that. I love that you guys have a big family. That's fantastic. So I'm really happy for you. Do you have some words of advice for someone who's maybe considering it?
Yeah, I think it's really important to research beforehand. Don't just go into it to just expect great things right off the bat either. That sometimes, depending on where we're coming from, we may have healing to do, internally, externally, and whether it comes from food addictions or healing, like I said, that your body needs, to let that take place first, and then set yourself a good foundation. And then if you need to lose weight, then maybe that'll come either naturally, or if you're ready to track macros or count calories, whatever you want to do, you have that foundation set and you're solid in that. And then also I would say to focus or to be okay with a variety. If you need cheese or if you want eggs, like, don't stick with what works for one person, because we're all so individual. And it really comes down to what works best for you and what's going to keep you on track.
That's great advice. But I would be remiss to not ask you, because I forgot, were there some challenges for you? Did you have some trouble, like with cramps or with adjusting, or with anything? Did you have any trouble when that transition?
I'd say the only trouble that I had would have been in my own head type things, like the going out to eat or worried about what other people would say. And honestly, once I got over those things, it was a game changer. I just knew that I felt good. So I decided I'm doing what's best for me. And if someone wants to judge me for that's on them. And I just don't put any value into what someone else thinks, because I know me and I know what I need and how I'm thriving. And this has been a game changer for me. Like I said, I spent years of trying all the different diets and yo-yo dieting, and I'm happy, I'm confident, I am feeding my family well. So, honestly, one other thing I forgot to mention is I had improvement in allergies. I used to have allergies my whole life growing up. I mean, as a kid, I took daily medication, and now I don't even know that I suffer from them at all. I rarely sneeze or rarely have any kind of symptoms from them.
Well, that's like from plants, from outside, like trees and
yeah,
pollen.
Yep, seasonal allergies.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Better workout. So I've always been very fitness oriented. I lift weights, and I have seen an improvement in working out as well.
Sounds all good.
Yeah,
Right.
all good things, truly. That's what I mean. Like, I just don't listen to the outside noise. Just do you and do what's best for you. And those were I think the only struggles. And then, at first thinking it was difficult to eat out. And now, honestly, I don't eat out a lot. But when we do socially, like, I'll make it work. I just say, okay, just the burger, no bun. And, 90% of the time I'm still going to get the stuff on the side or whatever, but it is what it is.
Yeah, great. Very good, Amy. It sounds perfect. So I'm really happy for you and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on and sharing this with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay, continue. Take care.
Right.
Join Revero.health for a 30-day free trial to get access to live Q&A with VIP guests, social community meetings, member discounts, low-carb healthcare providers list, forum, workouts, monthly challenges, early access to podcasts, recipes, carnivore diet guide, fasting guide, shred guide, and much more.